few more coming. So I think so far, pretty much everyone who's logged in knows me. Those of you who don't, I'm Linda Beauvais, and I've been running the Sioux Legacies travel program. I think this is our 22nd year, 21st or 22nd year. So we've been doing this a long time, and we have it down pretty well, but I've never tried to coach during a pandemic before. So this is new to me, just like it is to all of you. On that note, I want to just go over a few things. I hope all of you have seen the safe distancing guidelines we have for practice right now. The kids in the younger division I watched some of their practice today. They did really well with it. The older kids had their first practice today, and the high school group, and they did not do as well with it at first, but they're starting to get the hang of it. So I'm anticipating, and Maddie said she had some trouble on the first day too with just getting kids acclimated to that. So I have my first 14U practice tomorrow, and I'm sure I'm going to run into the same thing where the kids are all just going to be used to gathering together, and I'm going to have to make sure to keep them separated. So we'll work on that as we go, and that's going to be a work in progress. I'm hoping this is something that doesn't continue for too long. My guess is we'll know a lot more as this June 12th deadline rolls around. So I was talking to the high school group this evening, and right now we've already had 2 high school tournaments canceled, 1 14U tournament canceled. Nothing has been canceled yet for 10U and 12U because their tournaments are in July. So what I told the high school group tonight was we need to have a pretty fast turnaround time as we try to reschedule things. And so what I need to know is I need responses from parents and players as quickly as possible. If we find out a date is canceled and I find out of an alternative, I need to know within a day or two if we can try an alternative date. The problem I'm running into right now is everyone is so hungry to get tournaments in that the tournaments are filling, and it's going to be harder and harder to get into. My phone has been ringing off the hook for our tournament. I could probably take 35, 40 teams if I wanted to. There's no way we could handle that many. But so as things get bumped back, it's getting harder to get into tournaments. So we will want to get an answer from you right away on future dates. I still want to, for the high school group, I still want to get 4 tournaments in. And what I told them is we'll go into October if we have to. We'll spread this out. I realize kids are playing other sports, hopefully in the fall. And we'll just keep bumping things back to try to get a season in. So we'll make it work. And I think 14U, you've been told that the Sheboygan tournament's been postponed to August 22nd. I didn't get much feedback on that from any parents, but I know volleyball will have started by that time. So I don't know what our options are going to be in terms of high school volleyball and playing the 22nd of August. And those of you who I asked about Houghton, we do not have enough players for high school to play in Houghton at the end of June. So 14U will still be the only team going to that tournament. We only had 7 available for Houghton. So we'll be looking into July and August now for the high school team. For the 10U team, you've got the Sioux tournament, and then we need to look for one other date. There is an open date in Marquette that I will give you information on. I don't have that in front of me. And for 12U, your 2 tournaments are still on. It's the July 10 weekend in St. Helen and the weekend after in the Sioux. I've also been talking to Marquette about scheduling some pickup games with them. Those would likely be in Munising on a day trip, and Mackinac City for the 14U and high school group. They want to play us as well. So a lot of these high school teams are trying to get some games in this summer. So we're hoping to be able to add some day trip games for that group. The 14U will probably have you mix in with that group from time to time if there's short players. We've done that in the past, and we'll continue to do that. So Right now, we're, if you have not turned in a waiver for the COVID waiver for your daughter to practice, we really need that. Ideally, that should have been in by now. You should have all gotten it in your email. We've gotten over half of them back, so I think most of you have gotten them in. And then we won't be, I'm going to register in a different program, not ASA this year. ASA has gotten awfully expensive for insurance. So you won't need to fill out all that roster paperwork like you have in the past. Oh, there's also a coach out in the Western UP that wants to play us. I'm not sure how we would set that up with him. We might like set up a little mini tournament with all the age groups, because that would have to be at a neutral field too. The Sioux tournament is still on. Like I said, my phone's been ringing off the hook for that. For those of you that are new to the program, we asked the parents to sign up to help sell shirts and work concessions. Right now, if I had to decide right today, I would say we will not run any concession sales during the tournament. We don't make a lot of money on that anyway. It's more of a service we provide. We do make a lot of money on the shirts, but we want to try to limit our crowds at that area. So I think we'll cut back on that this year. So we'll be sending out volunteer sign-up sheets for that. Oh, and I also want to praise everyone. We are killing it with the can drive. So if you haven't been by the storage unit lately, thank you very much to the Curtises for donating those 2 storage units for the time being. Hopefully we aren't taking those up too much longer and we can get those cans turned in. But 1 unit is just packed full of cans. I'm sure we've made over $2,000. So we have done awesome with this can drive. And honestly, I think that's the way we'll do it in the future too. We just won't have quite as many cans probably from people saving them for this long. But this has been the easiest fundraiser I've ever done. The players' fees. Usually, last year we charged $100 for 12U, 14U, and high school. And I think high school we charged $20 a tournament, and $50 for 10U. Right now, I'm looking at $100 for 14U in high school and $50 for 10U and 12U. But if we can't get all those games, all those tournaments in, I don't need to charge that much. So as we know when we're going to have a full schedule, I will get back to you on that. Don't worry about paying me anything yet. Let's wait until we really get started, and then I will tell you when I'm going to start needing players' fees. So what I do is I pay all these tournament fees up front and then get paid back at the end. I am a little nervous about one tournament maybe not refunding me my money. Hopefully that happens, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But anyway, the fees will be set once I know exactly how many tournaments we're able to play. I usually need a $50 minimum to cover insurance, and then some other incidentals, and then we'll go from there. It's usually $20 a tournament on top of that. We provide uniforms for the kids. The high school group, you have brand new uniforms this year that you have not seen yet, and those are going to be super nice. The 14U team, I need your kids this week. If you haven't already, I need them to try those uniforms on and make sure they still fit. I've already heard from a couple parents, and those are custom uniforms, so it's going to take some time to get replacements made. So I need to know if I can get the order in right away. Hopefully we can get the replacements in before your first tournament. So I'm guessing it'll take about 3 weeks to do that. So if I can find out this week if a kid's pants or shirt doesn't fit, that would help me with some reordering. And just to go back on, that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. To go back on the distancing rules, we've done a really good job coming up with a list of drills to run that can keep kids separated. And all the coaches have hand sanitizer at the field. So between drills, they're squirting some sanitizer in each kid's hands. We've had enough coaches there that we can run separate stations. So the basic premise of practice right now is to put kids in 4 or 5 different stations, or 3 to 5, depending on how many kids are there, and run them in real individual type skill development. And then for 14U, that's the only group that's got more than 10 players right now, although 10U had a pretty good turnout tonight. So that, thank you to the Rudyard group. They're running the Rudyard kids at practice in Rudyard right now. And I just have the Sioux group in the Sioux. So we'll be able to keep our numbers under 10 that way. So that was everything on my list to go over. I'm gonna unmute everyone. Oh, it's not letting me unmute you guys. Hang on.
Linda, if everybody clicks on the upper right-hand corner, they can unmute themselves.
Yeah, just go ahead and unmute yourselves, you guys. So I've got a good 20 minutes left now, so I can open it up to any questions you might have. We have a few new parents here.
We're St. Helen.
Pardon me?
Where is St. Helen?
Oh, St. Helen is in the middle of the state, almost smack in the middle of the state, and it's right by, it's not too far from, not Tawas, West Branch. It's real close to West Branch. That's where I stayed last year.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
And that field is out in the middle of nowhere. It's a dusty place, but it's run by Scott Church's brothers. So I don't know how many of you know Scott Church, but his brother runs that program.
Okay.
And then for those of you that are new to 10U and 12U, we have, we set this up. I've talked to some of the new parents already, but we set this up where we really start out small to begin with. We run just a couple tournaments for you guys and get you acclimated to tournament ball. And then tournament ball is a lot different from Little League, and mainly because you're playing more than one game in a day. And it's a little bit higher level of softball. Not a huge jump, but a little bit. The pitching is usually pretty decent. And so with each year we try to add a tournament, and we kind of build you up slowly. So we generally are a tad behind at 10U than the teams we play, but we generally catch up by the time you're 14U. The other thing on that note too is one nice thing in 10U is we're playing more UP teams, and they have some pitching limits that make it a little easier for us. When we go downstate, it's just straight up softball, and you're throwing strikes, and you don't get off the field until you get your 3 outs. But in 10U and the UP, they scale it back a little bit, and they change pitchers every 3 innings, I think, and have coach come in and pitch after a walk. I kind of do a combination of the two. In my tournament last year, I didn't have any coach pitch, but we also had run limits. So that seemed to be a pretty good compromise in that regard.
Are you looking at keeping practice? Are you looking at keeping practice for the same times as we've set up right now? Is that kind of what you're looking forward for the summer? Or?
Most likely, we can definitely tweak it. I'm open to if someone's got some major conflicts. Usually, we're having to work around Little League and soccer, and so we aren't having to do that right now. But if someone's got some major issues with those practice times, I know a lot of the high school kids have jobs, and Jen is slowly getting that information. And so I'm pretty flexible on that. And one thing I've done in the past, I hope to not have to do it every time, but if a kid has to miss a practice and it's something I think she really needs to make up, one of us are more than happy to schedule a separate practice with that person, especially if it's pitching or hitting. and help them get some reps in that way if they happen to miss a practice. And vacations, if you're happen to go away on vacation, the best thing to do, or even miss practice, if you have to miss a practice, ideally let your coach know. If you need to go through me, that's fine if I'm not your coach. But if you're going away on vacation or your kid's going away to camp or something, try to send that to me in writing, because I'm really bad at remembering that if you just tell me at the field. So it really helps to get that information in writing. What else you guys have for me?
Linda, can I ask you about the high school team? I know that you said that there wasn't going to be the Houghton tournament. The Traverse City tournament has been rescheduled at a time we can't make. There was a third tournament in June. Has that one been canceled too?
It was Traverse City and Marquette. Marquette did not give me a date, but he
Okay,
wants
so-
he's the one that talked to me about wanting to play some pickup games. So I know we're going to play them in some way that'll
Okay.
work out.
So as of right now for June, there's nothing for the high school
Right.
team.
There's nothing
Okay.
in June for the high school team.
Okay.
And the only June event right now is that 14U trip to Houghton. And that we'll know more once we hear from the governor. So I guess what I'm asking you guys is let me know what you have in August available. And then Christy, have you guys heard anything from Lisa Schulte on, she was going to try to plan some stuff for you guys.
I haven't. Now Amber could have heard and I haven't got the word yet because she often will go through the kids. Have you heard anything, Tracy? You're muted.
Tracy, you're on mute.
Nothing at all.
Okay.
Haven't heard anything from the high school, from Lisa, as to what their plans are either.
So you high school parents, two high parents in particular, are you okay with me just continuing to schedule stuff and then just letting you know? And then, I mean, obviously I'll make sure I have enough people, but
yeah,
I-
I mean, so far it's been pretty flexible that we've been able to, we can always work around practices. And then even if the kids are working, they can book forward and say, I'm going to take these 2 days off. And that's been pretty fine. So, and it's not like there's 15 tournaments. It's not like a busy softball season. It's only going to be maybe 2 or 3 tournaments. And that's very doable. So as long as we stay flexible with the practices, and if you can only have, under 10 at a practice anyway, that kind of works out in our favor, that maybe we just do 2 practices and split the kids up and give them multiple opportunities. So that's perfectly fine.
yeah, I think that'll be the way we go. And Jenna's work schedule really varies. So sometimes she's off at like 3 p.m, and other times she has to work a full day. So, but she's been really good about communicating with the kids. So I think we'll be able to sort that out.
Yep.
Maddie Fitzpatrick, who's doing 10U and 12U, she works till 5 o'clock every day. So we are limited to the evenings with her. She is going to schedule some Sunday practices. She talked to some of the parents tonight and they asked for later in the evening. I have Saturday morning practices. I have not heard any feedback on that. So if that's a bad idea, let me know. I thought you might like that better than Sundays. So anybody else? Well, this was easy. And once again, thank you so much for the Can Drive success. That it's just been awesome. We may even be able to have enough money for 2 years. I'll let you know once I find out, but I can't believe how much stuff we have.
Linda, are we still collecting cans?
Yeah, you can, because we
Are we
can't
still
turn them in
collecting
yet.
cans?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Because
Okay.
Danny and Carrie Mills live down by you. They have a bunch.
who was that?
Danny and Carrie Mills.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get a hold of them.
Okay. I told them I'd pick them up too, but I don't know where they live exactly.
They live right off that main Brimley Road there. So,
Okay.
but if you want me to get them, I can. If you want to get them, that's fine too. Just let
If
me
you
know.
have time to grab them, I can have Lucy sort them for you.
Well, that reminds me, I picked up a whole truck full. I was telling Mary last night, I've got a whole truck full that I just dropped off. So if maybe Saturday after practice, if any kids want to go out there and help me sort, I could sure use the help.
Okay, maybe if we got hers, then we could do those at the same time.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, Corey. It took me a minute to figure out who was talking. How about anyone else? Oh, and if you don't have it, my cell phone number is 906-322-3404. In fact, I'll put that in the chat real quick.
Perfect. Thank you.
There you go. And my email.
In the same chat, can you put Jenna Holtz and Maddie Fitzpatrick's as well? Because the only way I reach out to them is on Facebook Messenger, and it's easier if I can just text them.
Bet.
Thank you. And they're both great to work with, by the way.
Well, good. They really love doing it.
And the kids like them a lot too, so that's good.
Good.
Well, if you need anything else, Linda, you just give us a holler, okay?
I sure will. You can get off the call if you want. I'm just typing these numbers in for the ones who need them. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. There you go. I'll stay on until everyone's off in case someone's still writing.